welcome everyone. I'm going to interrupt the conversation for a few minutes. I know we have some students just arriving. Please come right on into the front and left. So welcome and good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Harper, and I'm with the Career Development Office at the Goodman School of Business. And I'm pleased to welcome all of you and the students who are just arriving to the second annual Goodman Experience event, Meet and Greet with employers and on-campus groups and organizations about some exciting opportunities that are available to you here on campus and within the community. So on behalf of the Goodman School of Business, I'd like to start by officially thanking all of you for your participation, both our students as well as our employer partners who have joined us. Everyone in this room recognizes the value of experiential opportunities and engaging students outside the classroom. The Goodman Experience, of course, is just that, a showcase of experiential opportunities which are designed to help our students build their resumes and their professional network, while also supporting their skill development and career planning. Throughout the event, we will be featuring a live Twitter feed. So for those of you with Twitter accounts, we encourage you to hashtag Goodman Experience. We also encourage you to promote this to your friends, let them know this is happening all afternoon. They can drop in anytime between 12:30 and 3:30. Some of you may have noticed throughout the morning that we also have a camera that's scanning the room. We are feeding this live into Terrell Hall, and we're going to be taking some snapshots and video throughout the afternoon of some of the key interactions that are happening. We'll be looping that through Terrell Hall throughout the afternoon and encouraging students in the business school to come on down and join us at some point. It's now my pleasure to introduce all of the groups that are in the room, and there is a bit of a list, so bear with me as I go through. I don't want to miss anyone. From our student groups and associations of the business school, we have the Business Students Association, the Brock University Accounting Students Association, the Brock Finance and Investment Group, the Brock University Entrepreneurship Club, Brock Business Badgers, Brock University Marketing Association, the Brock Human Resource Management Association, and the Graduate Business Council. From the Goodman School of Business, our departments internally, we have Academic Advising, BioLink, the Career Development Office, Graduate Programs Office, International Exchange Office, and the Student Engagement Office. Some of our campus partners include Career Services, specifically Mentorship Plus and Experience Plus. We have Community Connections, Foundations in Leadership, and the Passport Program. And our employer partners today include Aerotech, Broadbrain Commodities, CWD Limited, PepsiCo Foods Canada, Stryker Canada, and Target Canada. Please join me in welcoming all of our guests today. I did want to take a brief moment as well to acknowledge the employer partners that we have in the room for volunteering their afternoon to meet with our students and to provide some coaching on resumes and interviews. We know you have a lot of choice when it comes to choosing your campus recruitment partners, and we greatly appreciate that the Goodman School of Business is one of those partners. Thank you again so much for being here. Now, before I pass the floor to the next speaker, I'd like to introduce and thank the organizing committee of this event. As you can appreciate, with the volume of partners that we have represented, this doesn't come together with any small effort. And so I'd like to call upon Marissa Brown, who is the Senior Career Consultant in the Career Development. I believe she might be upstairs this afternoon. Najla Rowe, Student Engagement Coordinator. I don't know where Najla is, but there she is at the back. Brian Buttrell, Graduate Academic Coordinator. There he is at the back as well. Akib Ziaf, the President of the Business Students Association. Melanie Dennis, Vice President Human Resources for the Business Students Association. I'm not sure. Over here, thank you. And finally, Tashman Bashar, President for the Graduate Business Council right here in the room. So thank you so much for all your hard work in planning this event. So now it's my pleasure to actually call upon both Akib and Tashman. Akib is the President of the BSA and Tashman, President of the GBC, to offer some welcoming words and some opening comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. So on behalf of the Goodman Business Students Association, the Graduate Business Council, and all our student clubs here, I would like to first thank all of our employers for coming out to our second annual Goodman Experience. I would also like to thank the Goodman Career Development Office, especially Stephanie Harper and Marissa Brown for coordinating such a great event. So it's events like these that really help students gain valuable experiences that will prove to be absolutely crucial in our future careers. I would also like to thank our employers for taking time out of their schedules to come meet with us and providing us with great tips and advice. And I promise you these will be put to good use. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day at Goodman School of Business. Thank you very much.
So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome Darryl Moyers. Darryl is a graduate of the Goodman School of Business out of the BBA program, and as I'm sure he'll tell you, he was quite involved when he was here as a student and has used a lot of the skills and experience from that and in transitioning into his career. So it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome Darryl Moyers.
Thanks, Steph. It's good to be back. It feels really weird to be on campus, I think. I'm really happy to be back. I'm good because when I graduated, we're still the Brock faculty of business, so it's looking like it's going to be great at this afternoon. As Steph sort of alluded to, I was heavily involved when I was at Brock or at Goodman. I was president of the Business Students Association, amongst other things. We'll talk about that during my brief comments here. But the biggest thing that I do want to emphasize in this speech, I was called back to talk about how you can make the most out of your university career by getting involved and really how it has impacted me and where it's sort of taken me with career path. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about, actually 3 small stories. The first story is going to be about the first time that I got lucky in university. Perhaps appropriately, the second story is going to be about the first time that I was rejected. And the third story that I'm going to be telling you today, if we have time, is going to be about breakfast. And I'm not sure how I'm going to make this segue in between getting rejected and going to breakfast, but we'll see how that one goes. So to begin, let's start things off with a bang, and we're going to talk about the first time that I got lucky in university. The first time that I got lucky in university, it was actually very similar to many of my other friends. It was during orientation week of the first week of school. The Thursday of classes, I walked in and realized very quickly that the TA at my seminar for Management 1P93, Introduction to Business, happened to be the president of the Business Students Association at the university. And I said, wow, I came into this university on a mission to get involved, and who is one of the first people that I meet but the president of the Business Students Association. So right away, I knew things were hooking up. I stayed in great contact with that president all year. And at the end of the year, I actually had a sit-down meeting with him, and he introduced me to who was going to be his successor. Now, as luck would have it, his successor, being the president of the Business Students Association the next year, his successor was actually looking for an executive assistant. So I ended up taking that role and got the opportunity, or if you will, I got lucky, and I was lucky enough to spend the entire next year working as the executive assistant to the president and working directly with all the executives on the Business Students Association. It was an amazing opportunity. At the end of the year, again, got lucky. Every single executive on that council, with the exception of myself, was graduated. I was literally the only person left with executive experience, and I somehow lucked out into the opportunity of becoming president of the Business Students Association. So now, I've had a few years to think back on this, and granted, the entire story sounds like there was a lot of luck involved, and sure there was, but I've now come to the realization that so much of the luck was just putting myself into the right spot and working very, very hard for it. So I had, obviously, the fortunate opportunity to meet with the president in that first seminar, the first seminar of my university career. But I had the amazing opportunity to meet with the president in the first seminar, but so did 50 or so other people. He was teaching 2 different seminar classes. I honestly believe that if I had not have met him there, I would have gone out of my way to meet him somewhere else. It was just me putting myself into the right position. A couple of years and make the Brock University ICBC team. I competed with a partner, and through that experience, I actually met 3 former clients, 2 people who I consider to be among my best friends right now, and a very, very trusted mentor of mine. All through that experience where I got lucky. Currently, in my the the position where I work right now, my ICBC partner got me the job. So if you will, I got lucky. I walked into that job. Again, a lot was through hard work. So I did promise you 3 stories. We're going to move on to the first time that I got rejected. So one of the things I was proudest of when I graduated from Brock University was the fact that I had a 100% success rate. I considered it to be a 100% success rate on job interviews. And by that I meant when I went in for a job interview, it was almost a guarantee that I was going to get the job. After so many successes, I'll completely admit I started to get a little bit cocky about it. But the interesting thing about percentages is that although I had a 100% success rate on interviews, I actually had a much lower success rate on applying to jobs. So if anybody here has ever used Taleo, the online web portal, I think my going average right now, I've got accepted for 2 interviews for about 60 positions that I've applied to through Taleo. It's crazy. So my average is more like 3%, if you want to consider that. But as a side note, one thing I would say is that you do need to build up your network, because the majority of the interviews that I had were through personal contacts as opposed to applying through Taleo, etc. But anyway, back to getting rejected. About 18 months after I graduated from university, I had the opportunity to apply to a job at TELUS. A friend got me in. Again, I didn't apply through the conventional streams. A friend got me the interview. Went through 3 interviews over 7 weeks, and I knew that I nailed those interviews. I did great, and I didn't get the position. So that's what that felt like. That was the first time that it ever happened to me, that I had gone through an interview process, and such an extensive one. I didn't actually get the position, but the manager was kind enough to contact me afterwards and provide me some feedback. The biggest thing that he said about my resume is, he said, "You have an extensive resume with tons of different experience." And he said, at the end of the day, we couldn't figure out what you were best at. You had so many different titles, you had so many different, valuable experiences. Whether you were a marketing guy, a tech guy, a strategy guy, we didn't understand you, and we thought that you might not have been the right fit for the specific role. Now here's the awkward transition into the breakfast conversation. So just keep the idea of sort of over-involvement in the back of your mind. In my second year, I had the opportunity to attend the first ever BSA recognition night. Yes, I was there, and yes, I know that dates me. At that recognition night, the BSA's first ever honorary president said a speech. In that speech, there was a quote which I've held in very high regard since I heard it the first time. He explained that the difference between involvement and commitment can be exemplified by a breakfast of bacon and eggs. He said, the difference between involvement and commitment can be exemplified by breakfast of bacon and eggs. And sorry for that. The chicken is involved in the process. The pig is very, very much committed. So, right away, that sort of struck a chord with me, and I thought back to that quote when I got rejected from that job there. And I said, you know what, at the end of the day, I think that some of my involvement was less committed than it could have been. I probably stretched myself too thin for some of my experiences, and I look back on that now. So if I was to leave you with one piece of advice today, it would definitely be put yourself into positions where you can get lucky, as it were, work hard and put yourself in the right spots, and everything else will fall into place. The other thing would be try and find a couple or 2 or 3 things that you can commit to, meaning get fully involved, as in the pig, really put your rear end on the line and get it done, as opposed to trying to get involved with so many different things. I think that's all I have for now. I'm looking forward to hanging around this afternoon and seeing some of these meetings, but thank you again for having me. I'll pass it back to Steph.
Thanks. Thank you, Darryl. Some great insights. And as Darryl mentioned, he is going to stick around throughout the afternoon. So for those of you who are networking throughout the trade show, please feel free to connect with Darryl at any point. So just as some final closing reminders and a couple of housekeeping items, and then I promise I will turn this microphone off and give you the opportunity to make your way throughout the room. So I just want to remind everyone, including those students who have joined us to participate in the event, that there are literally hundreds of opportunities in this room today for you to get involved, to build your experience, to meet some new people, and to build your resume. And to Darryl's point, it's not about participating in everything. It's about choosing those experiences and those opportunities that you think will add value to your experience and will help you build your own resume. At this time, I'm just going to add a couple of reminders. We are checking students in at the door so that we can make sure we acknowledge your participation in this event through Experience Plus. For those students who were here earlier for the previous networking format, I encourage you before you leave to make sure you do check in so that we've tracked your participation in the event today. I think that might be it for me. At this time, I'd like to invite our employers, if you have an opportunity to make your way back to the upper level. We will have some students ready to meet with you for the first round session. For those of you who are interested in meeting with an employer this afternoon, please make sure you visit our registration table upstairs, and we will get you signed up for a time slot. So thank you so much. Enjoy the afternoon and help yourself to refreshments.